Hey guys, Mike here at Animate Tutorials, and welcome back to a new video. All right, well, today we are going to talk about how to animate clothing. Okay, so let's say you have a character model that has been rigged and it's running around and it's wearing clothes. How will these clothes interact with your model, and will it stay in place? Will it move the way it should, and so forth? Okay. So we're going to get into the basics of that, and I'm going to keep it simple so it's easy to follow. There will be some modeling involved, but we're going to keep that again very simple. This is not about the modeling; it's about the principle of the nCloth clothing. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to load in a model. So I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to go to Import, and on my desktop I have this guy. And this is just a simple model that I created using the Make Human software. It's a free open source software. I did a tutorial on that. So if you want to check that out, you can. Okay. I'm going to select this guy. I'm going to hit 4 on my keyboard. And as you can see, there is no joint system or anything going on here. Okay. So we're going to create a simple joint system, and that will allow us to work with this guy. So we're going to switch to our front view here, and I'm going to hit 4 here as well. We're going to go into our rigging menu. We're going to go to skeleton and create joints. And I'm going to start at the shoulder here. So roughly at the shoulder, I'm going to click once. I'll do one at the elbow, one at the wrist, and one in the hand. Okay, hit enter. Switch to our side view. Hit 4 for wireframe mode once again. And as you can see here, excuse me, our joint system isn't exactly in place yet. Okay, so we're going to select the master joint up here. We're going to hit W, and we're going to move that roughly there. Then we're going to take our elbow, move that into place. We'll take our wrist, move that over here, and we'll take this for our hand and move that roughly over there. Okay, it's not a detailed rig, but we don't need to. The only thing we want to demonstrate is while this guy is wearing clothes, if we move the arms or we move the body, what will happen. Okay. So I'm going to select the master joint for this arm, and I'm going to duplicate it over. So I'm going to go to skeleton, and I'm going to go to mirror joints, option box. Now in my situation, I want it to be a YZ mirror. So I'm going to hit apply. And as you can see, that has been created, which is cool. And we're going to create a simple joint system for the spine and the neck. Okay. So let's switch to this view. And we're going to go once again to create joints right here. We'll do one somewhere around here because we're not going to use the legs. We'll do one, let's say in the center of the neck roughly, and we'll do one inside of the head. Okay, hit enter. We're going to check that from this view to kind of see if it's in a good spot. We'll move this to the middle here. We'll take the neck, we'll move that a little bit to the back, and we'll take the one inside the head there and move that like so. Okay, all good. Now these guys need to be connected with each other. So I'm going to take, let's see, take this guy and shift select that guy. And then I'm going to shift select the neck joint. And I'm going to hit P to parent. So now if we click on our guy and hit Control H to hide him, you can see that we have this system with two eyes floating in the air. All right, we're going to go back to display, show, and show all. So that's our simple rig. We're going to connect it to the body. So we're going to go to Windows Outliner. This is our joint system. We're going to shift select our body, and we're going to go to skin and bind skin. Not quite there yet because we still want to have some control over these joints. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up an IK rig. And how do we do that? We're going to go in and we are going to select this joint. Actually, I'm going to hide the guy here for a sec. Okay. All right. So we're going to select this. We're going to shift select the shoulder joint. And we're going to go to skeleton and create a IK handle, hit the option box, reset it, select rotate plane, and close that out. Oops, should have done that first. And now select this and hit, come on, sorry guys. Once again, IK, 1 and 2, and there we go. Okay, I'm going to do that again. Where'd he go? Right there. And 1 and 2 and enter. Okay, so now, excuse me, if I take this, I can move that around and you can see that the arm is working. Okay, here, same deal. Control Z to go back, it's all good. We're going to turn back on our guy, so display show and show all. And there we go, just get the arm back in the right position. Display show all. So our guy is rigged. Nice. Okay. So one more thing to do is create some quick controls here. So create Nurbs primitives and a circle. Move that over here. E to rotate up to minus 90 degrees. Hit W, pull that up and move that towards our hand here. That's fine. Hit Control D to duplicate that. Move it over to this end. And now what we're going to do is we're going to parent these Nurb circles to our controls. Okay. So first we're going to select the child in this parent-child relationship. Shift select the Nurbs curve and hit P. And over here, same deal. Select your handle, shift select and hit P. Which now means that if I take this control, actually, I got some boogie going on. Yee-hoo. All right, that's fine. Anyway, that arm is working. This arm is working. Not quite sure why the rest of the body is responding like that because there's not really anything going on there. But that's fine because we don't really need the legs anyway. So we're just gonna cut this guy in half somewhat. Right click object mode, right click face, and let's select this part and hit delete. And let's take this and hit delete as well. All right. So this is our rigged semi guy, okay? Now let's create some kind of Rambo type cape thing, okay? So we're going to take a simple polygon plane and we're going to drag that out in the grid, pull that up, and let's give this enough subdivision to be able to deform it. So let's do 15 by 15. From our top view, we're going to kind of position it so he could actually wear this. That's about right. And then we're going to pull that up and we're going to cut a hole in the fabric so his head can go through. Okay, hit 4 on your keyboard and let's try to keep this small. So we're going to right click the face and what we'll do is we'll take this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one and hit delete. Right click object mode and we're going to just move it a little bit and let's see if that's going to fit over his head. Should be okay. All right. Okay, so what are we going to do next? First, we're going to hit 5 for shaded mode. We're going to select our plane here, make sure it's selected, and we're going to go to our FX menu and to nCloth and create nCloth. Now that in itself creates a nucleus, and adds certain properties to this, one of them being gravity. Okay, so I'm going to select this and I'm going to go into my nCloth shape presets, which will allow me to select a type of fabric that I want to use for this. And I'm going to go with silk for now, okay, and hit replace. So when I hit play on this animation, it's going to fall straight through the body, and I'll show you, right? The reason for that is I didn't tell my nCloth to interact with the body, okay? So I have my nCloth selected. I'm going to go up to nCloth and create a passive collider. And then I'm going to select my body and again, create passive collider. So these two should now interact with each other and the cloth should now rest on the shoulders of my character. I'm going to give this a little bit more frames. Let's do 250. Hit play and see what happens. It's moving over his head, looks like, just, okay. And as you can see, that is now starting to act as a cape kind of deal, okay. So, and by increasing the poly count, you can have that respond a bit smoother and so forth. So that is okay so far. Now the problem is I want my scene to start like this. I don't want to have this whole thing going on, right? Before I have my guy with his cape, if you will. So I'm just going to play this out until it's at a point where my frames or where my cloth is stationary, if you will, which is pretty much here. So it takes 225 frames, right? So I'm going to set this to 1,000 frames, okay? And then I'm going to go into the nucleus and I'm going to go to start frame under time attributes. And I want this start frame to be minus 225, okay? So that said, if I now go back to frame 1, my guy starts off with his cloth in place, okay? So now when I hit play, not too much is going on, which is exactly what I want, okay? Back to frame 1. And what I now want to demonstrate is as soon as you start to move your guy, if you will, you will see that the cloth will move as well. So on frame 1, I'm going to select this guy and I am going to hit S on my keyboard to keyframe that. And then let's move to frame 100 and we'll take the arm. And as you can see, you have some interaction in the front there. And kind of move that forward, let's say to there. Okay. And hit S once again to keyframe. We're going to scroll back to frame 1. And let's play this out and see if our cloth is responding correctly. Okay, here we go. So he's pulling up the arm. There's not a very clear response, so maybe we have to be a bit more dramatic about it. So we'll go back to frame 1 and let's try this guy. We'll take this control, S to keyframe on 1, and let's move that way up here. Okay. Actually, should have moved my frame first. Sorry about that. So frame 100, move that up and out, and hit S to keyframe that. Back to frame 1, let's see what we get. And you can clearly see that the cloth is responding exactly like it should. The arm is not going through or anything like that, so that's perfect. So that is one example. Now, in this case, you can have the fabric rest on the shoulders. So that's kind of keeping it in place and following your guy around, okay? But that's not always possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to take his cape and we're going to delete that. And we'll go to Windows and Outliner. And let's see, we'll take the nucleus and delete that. And we'll take that and delete it. And all that stuff is all right. Okay. Now, let's say for whatever reason, let's say this guy's wearing a kilt. Okay, that's possible. Okay, so what we'll do is we're going to go to Create, Nurbs Primitives, we'll do a circle, and we'll bring that up. And we're going to hit R, and we're going to kind of scale that, and bring that up some more. And then we're going to hit R, and we're going to kind of scale that in. And it's always tricky to get this in a position that it fits properly. So we're going to hit W, we're going to move that, we're going to hit R, I'm going to scale that in. So from that view, not too bad. From this view, we're probably going to need to hit R and kind of scale it out a little bit. All right, okay, so we got that. And you can tweak that if you want. We can hit Control D to duplicate that, W to move that down, and hit R and kind of scale that out. And then we're going to right click and go to Control Vertex. And we'll take a couple of these and just kind of tweak that shape a little bit, you know, pull it out or in or whatever you want. Okay, let's do something like that. And then we'll select this guy and shift select that guy. And we're going to go to modeling and surfaces and Loft, which has now created this thing. Okay, and his butt sticking out, looks like. So we're going to kind of tweak that a little bit. First, we are going to right click at object mode, and we're going to go to modify, convert Nurbs to polygons. Okay, then window outliner, and we'll take our lofted surface, hit W and move that out. Hang on, where's our polygon object? Okay, so this is our Nurbs object. We're going to get rid of that. This guy we're going to bring back in. And we're going to go to edit, delete by type, history, modify, freeze transformations. Where do you go? Up here. Okay. Now we are going to kind of tweak this for a better fit. So select it, modify center pivot, bring it back just a little. And now let's go from this view, right click edge. Actually, let's do vertices, right click vertices. Okay. Select all of that. Come on. Doesn't want to play ball, guys. Sorry. Well, let's do it this way then. And it looks a bit weird, but don't worry, because as it is a fabric, it's going to kind of shape towards where we need to be. Okay, so we can take these and kind of push that back in, and then we'll take these and kind of pull them out, just so there's no flesh going on here. up here, we'll take that, and we'll take that, and there we go. All right, not quite there yet for a couple of reasons. First of all, we need to reverse our normals because we have this black surface going on. So right-click Object Mode, and we are going to go to Modeling and Mesh Display and Reverse. Okay. With that selected, we are now going to turn it into an nCloth. So we're going to go to FX, nCloth, create nCloth, select it again. We're going to go into our presets once again, and we'll do silk and replace. And again, it now has dynamic properties. For example, gravity. So if we hit play, he's probably going to lose his skirt, if you will. And as you can see, it is. First, we're going to take these Nurbs circles and get rid of them. Hit delete. We're going to scroll back to our starting point. And what we're going to do is we're going to go in. We're going to right-click, go to Vertex. And we're going to select the entire top row of vertices, like that. Come on. Right-click Vertex. Not quite sure why that happens. Okay, right-click Vertex. Okay, we'll do it differently. I'll select my guy here, Control H, so we shouldn't have that problem. Right-click Vertex, go in and drag select the. Sometimes Maya drives me nuts. Okay, we got one more to go, which is this guy right here, and one back here. All selected. I'm going to go back to display and show all. I got that selected. I'm going to shift select the body here, and I'm going to go to end constraint and point to surface. Okay. So now if I go back to my frame 1 and I hit play, it should stay in place. And as you can see, it does. It's not falling down anymore. It needs some tweaking, as you can see in the back here. So we'll do that. We'll play back. The tweaking is that although it's held in place by these row of vertices, we didn't create a passive collider yet. So the skirt, if you will, or the kilt is not seeing the body. So we're going to select this. We're going to go to, where do you go? Create passive collider under nCloth. And this guy should already be a passive collider. Let's see. We're all good. So let's try that again. And now that should flow correctly without showing off his butt. And as you can see, that is now staying in place and it's working almost perfectly. Little issue there, as you can see. This is all solved. So that's a little correction that needs to be made. And that's because you can see that the edge flow on this conversion wasn't all proper. But in order to fix that, I'd have to go back and, turn it back into a non-nCloth and so forth. Anyway, hopefully this will explain the technique as to how you can constrain nCloth on a character as far as a cape is concerned, a kilt, something like that. All right. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'd love to help if I can. And that said, thank you very much for watching my video. See you guys next time. Bye.